Evil. Actions driven by selfishness, cruelty, and a complete disregard for the well-being of others, often resulting in lasting harm, with no remorse or intention to change. Jafar. Jafar is the main villain in Aladdin. As the royal vizier of Agrabah, he was presented as the Sultan's most trusted and loyal advisor. While he seemed charming and respectable on the outside, he revealed to be a power-hungry individual and had a lot of contempt for those around him. Jafar manipulates the Sultan by hypnotizing him with his iconic snake-headed staff. His narcissistic tendencies and lust for power leads him to manipulate desperate people to enter the Cave of Wonders to retrieve the powerful genie's lamp. He didn't care if that person died in the process. As long as they got him what he wanted, he would give them a promise of endless treasures in return. All his hopes of stealing the throne led him to force Aladdin to go into the Cave of Wonders to retrieve the lamp. After more manipulation and a beautiful love story, and Aladdin showing Jasmine the world, his blind lust for power turns him into a genie, effectively becoming a magical prisoner for no less than 10,000 years. Jafar is a Disney classic. However, he is a run-of-the-mill villain. His evil actions are based on a deep hunger for power, rather than having true moral corruption or personal vendettas. He is your average Disney villain. 6.
I will be Sultan.
Hades. Hades is the main villain in the movie Hercules. He's the fast-talking god of the underworld who has a vendetta against his older brother Zeus. He's most known for his self-aware style of humor on the surface, but he is an extremely bitter god and has an uncontrollable temper. The smallest inconveniences cause harm to those immediately around him, especially his minions, Pain and Panic. Comedically, he actually hates ruling the underworld. Over a couple decades, he devised a plan to take over Mount Olympus and the cosmos. A prophecy by the fates told him that a hero would stand in his way and end his reign. Thus, he decided to kidnap baby Hercules and give him a potion to turn him mortal, but he did not drink the last drop, and he retained his godlike strength. After a series of fun training montages and falling in love with a girl named Meg, Hercules was faced with fighting Hades' titans as he launched his attack to take over Mount Olympus. Hades is sucked into the river Styx, and his fate is sealed. While a god taking over a city and Mount Olympus by attacking with titans is theoretically very evil, Hades himself doesn't ever show a deep-rooted, true evil personality like the higher-ranked villains on this list. He's more of a victim of circumstance, and his personality shows that. I'll put him at a 7.
Name is Hades, Lord of the Dead.
Cruella De Vil. Cruella is the villain of the 101 Dalmatians movie. She's eccentric and fashion-obsessed. Her one life's goal is to skin 101 Dalmatian puppies to create a spotted fur coat. It is that obsession that drives her to murderous intentions. Immoral acts of kidnapping and slaughter is what satisfies her mania. Her whole story is one of vanity and doing whatever it takes to look fly. Can't hate on that in the grand scheme of things. I'm kidding. She's an evil person. I mean, who would want to do that to a cute little puppy, let alone 101 of them? But you really gotta hear me out here. She is not amongst the top of the most evil Disney villains. We're gonna leave her at the 11th spot.
15 puppies. How marvelous.
The Evil Queen. The Evil Queen is from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. She is the first Disney villain in Disney animated features canon. All she dreamed of was being the fairest of all. She grew obsessively jealous of the only one to surpass her beauty. Snow White. She eventually takes matters into her own hand and disguises herself as an old lady to tempt Snow White to eat a poison apple. The Seven Dwarfs implied she is a cruel ruler and governed terribly. That jealousy drove her to murderous intentions and was willing to destroy her own beauty to kill another. This all shows her desperation to be the most beautiful. Hear me out. She's a classic villain that led the way to even more evil figures in the Disney lore. She's scary and evil, but she would fit right into the 8th slot.
Who is the fairest one of all?
Remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying. Thank you very much. The Coachman. The Coachman is a villain from the movie Pinocchio. This sinister man has no redeeming qualities. He's known for his greed and pleasure of destroying children's lives. He has a twisted moral compass as he kidnaps the boys from towns he visits to teach them a lesson for misbehaving. He's never shown kidnapping or forcing, but rather he entices them to come on their own accord to Pleasure Island. He's devious and cunning with the goal of making kids smoke and turning them into donkeys. Money is half the issue. He seems to have a wicked sense of enjoyment doing this to kids all around. He falls into the weird, sinister type of character that does horrific deeds, but you cannot pinpoint why exactly. He's easily in the upper end of the evil scale. Let's put him at number 4.
Come on, let's have another.
Lady Tremaine. Lady Tremaine is the villain from Cinderella. She's the cold-hearted stepmother of Cinderella who opts to torture her psychologically and punish her, rather than physically hurt her. Again, beauty plays a role, as Cinderella is more beautiful than her daughters. She has no powers and is simply in it to instill self-control and grace to her daughters. She makes a false promise to Cinderella that she may attend the ball if she can find something suitable to wear. She manipulates her daughters to tear her dress, reducing her to rags. At the end of the day, she's just very mean and borderline evil. Definitely lighter than all the other villains on this list. A classic villain, but she is the bare minimum at number 12.
Girls, girls, your manners.
Maleficent. Maleficent is, of course, the villain of Sleeping Beauty. After not getting the invite to the christening of Princess Aurora, she curses the princess to die by pricking her finger on a spinning wheel spindle before sunset on her 16th birthday. That's a very oddly specific curse. She uses her dark powers to get whatever she wants and is very much sinister, as shown in the way she liked to taunt people when she captures them. Maleficent did a pretty good job of psychologically torturing Prince Philip. Extra points for that. She's got iconic lines, the perfect Disney villain look, but I wouldn't say she's extremely pure evil. She's more spiteful and places oddly specific curses on kids. That lands her at a measly 10.
I catch a prince.
Ursula. Ursula is the sea witch from The Little Mermaid. She was banished from King Triton's kingdom. Scorned, she vowed revenge by harnessing the king's trident and becoming the ruler of the 7 seas. Using her 2 eel minions, she lured his daughter, Ariel, to her lair, claiming she could make her dreams of falling in love on land using legs come true. At the cost of losing her voice, her human transformation wish would be complete once she receives the kiss of true love from Eric. She was very predatory, but the fact is, she wrote up a written agreement, and Ariel agreed to the terms and conditions. Legally, this was properly done. After a beautiful love story, Ursula's true intentions were revealed, and King Triton had to choose between his freedom or Ariel's. While preparing to murder Ariel, she is killed by Eric plunging his ship into her abdomen. Ursula gets less evil points for properly writing a contract that both parties agreed upon, and she falls into a vengeance lure for being outcasted. She lands on the 9th spot.
Poor unfortunate soul.
Shan Yu. Shan Yu is the main antagonist of Mulan. He rules over the ruthless Hun army, an army responsible for mass genocide. He viewed the Great Wall as a challenge and declared war, with intentions of taking over the country. His on-screen appearance is very scary and cold-hearted, with only killing and destruction on his mind. He burned down villages and killed lots of innocent people to intimidate Mulan and her army. He never underestimated Mulan, but she got the better of him when she worked a plan to strap him to a firework so he could die in a fiery explosion that everyone celebrated. His evil isn't one of psychological torture, rather he is very barbaric. Genocide and a pure ruthlessness to kill is a middle-of-the-row evil for Disney villains, and he belongs in the 5th spot.
What do you see?
Scar. Scar is the villain of The Lion King. He is the younger brother of Mufasa and next in line for the throne. Things changed, however, when Simba was born. In a rage of jealousy and entitlement, he devised a plan with the hyenas to take over the land himself. He was very intelligent and narcissistic on screen, and did whatever it took to gain power. Everything he did was well calculated and sinister. He plays the role of an uncle looking out for Simba, but deep down loathes him. He has a different level of darkness other villains don't possess. His murder of Mufasa is the most iconic of all Disney movies, and his way of thinking and everything around it emphasize that fact. Furthermore, he pushes the issue, convincing young Simba that he is the reason for Mufasa's death and encourages him to run away. His rule of the kingdom was sadistic and spiteful. Scar is the definition of an evil villain, which is why he is the runner-up to most evil Disney villain. 2.
Long live the king.
Mother Gothel. Mother Gothel is the vain and wicked woman from Tangled. Her hundreds of years of youth and joy is tied to the healing properties of a magic golden flower. However, the flower's powers were transferred to the hair of Princess Rapunzel. So what does any rational evil person do? She kidnapped the long-haired child and trapped her in a secluded tower to keep the magical powers for herself. She, of course, posed as her loving, overprotective mother that wants to shield her from the evils of the outside world. A manipulative, pure evil soul for the sake of vanity that is willing to kill anyone who gets in her way is something we've seen in other villains. I just for some reason believe hers to be more real and evil. It's a mix of her relentless commitment to vanity, literally pretending and manipulating for decades. It seems particularly extra evil. She didn't kill on a mass scale, but her targeted, unapologetic nature and lack of genuine affection puts her in a higher tier. If you watch the movie closely, you can tell it's more than vanity. She has a deeper evil. She will be number 3 on our list.
The outside world is a dangerous place.
Judge Claude Frollo. Judge Claude Frollo is the most deep-rooted, sinister, evil character in the Disney villain world. His day job is Justice Minister, who begrudgingly has to take care of the deformed Quasimodo. He is a highly religious man with zero tolerance for sinners. To him, gypsies are the most heinous beings and wishes to eradicate their entirety. Inhumane acts of murder, under the justification of religion. He is feared throughout the streets of Paris, and took a sadistic liking to attempt to burn Esmeralda at the stake. He is only with Quasimodo because he killed his mother in brutal fashion. In an extreme rage and strange obsession with finding Esmeralda, he threatens to burn down all of Paris. His on-screen appearances were exceptionally fearful, and you could sense the evil through the screen. Another aspect that makes his evil feel real is how it feels like he could be a real person. His true loathing and hatred of seemingly all people around him, mixed with a rationalization that everything he does is completely just, makes him the clear most true form of evil in the whole Disney universe.
The sentence for insubordination is death.
There you have it. Those are the most evil villains in Disney, ranked. I'm sure your opinions are much different and I could be completely off. Please let me know in the comments who you think is the most evil villain. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I appreciate you all.